Mhm. Strong hero, going to be able to really play up into a just about global strat here for Fart Studios. Spectre, Prophet can obviously be anywhere they need to be, and then you've got, I'm not quite sure position wise, but a Tiny in the lineup, right? That can obviously make plays, and then Sonic. Listen, nobody's going to accuse him of having the widest hero pool in the world, right? But when he's on the Disruptor, he knows what he's doing. It's a comfort hero, so don't overthink it for him, right?
Well, what I want to see is the Sonic Pudge, but maybe later. Maybe
With
with their
Jenkins
game
on
up.
that team, that will
The
not be allowed.
it'll we'll see. It's hard to say. And speaking of Pudge,
Hey.
well there you go. Yeah, a tempo-based carry that is pretty annoying for Spectre to deal with, but I do wonder what it's going to look like into that Nature's Prophet lane. And of course, maybe that
Mm.
doesn't matter at all and they decide to throw it in the mid lane, but this certainly feels like more of a Yumi hero than an RCY hero. And speaking of RCY, we haven't spoken about him at all. The superstar for DogChamp that came out of pretty much nowhere, the young gun of NA, it feels like at this point, who has 3 or 4 heroes that always get first banned, always get first picked as well. He's kind of been silently waiting here for his last pick, a drafting style that honestly DogChamp typically doesn't go for. So now I'm just excited. I wonder what RCY is going to pick here.
Yeah, I mean, normally opposing teams are keyed into his pool pretty damn early, right? So waiting till the end of the draft is a style that kind of came about out of necessity for DogChamp, but or excuse me, taking it early, not waiting until the end. So now there's a little bit of freedom, right? I mean, Fart Studios are going to get 1 or 2 bans in there. You see the Bad Rider being taken away, but you can't ban out everything. So we'll see where they look to go here, because to be honest, the number one thing I think teams were scared of before was his Tinker ET, but I don't really know if DogChamp want to play that kind of card, because the Pudge and the Tinker feel like they're on separate tracks in terms of their tempo.
Yeah, and it certainly would make for a fearsome team fight, but then Beastmaster's job is to do everything at that point. He has to
Yeah.
kill the Roche, he has to kill the buildings, he's kind of your main guy. So I do feel like going for something slightly more conventional would do them some good. I think the most valuable hero they could go for in that regard is probably just simply Leshrac. Just simple,
Mm.
covers everything that really Pudge and Beastmaster suffer with. But they also just want a hero to run at Spectre. They want something that's going to be efficient. And that's where I think they go for the Spectre on Fart Studios in the position they do, because it does almost pseudo make you not want to play Tinker, which is something they are absolutely going to have to be worried about. In the Viper Ben, I
Mm.
do like it. I think, again, covering your bases, making sure your Spectre doesn't have too many bad matchups, really throughout the entire draft, Fart Studios just prioritizing almost direct counter picks versus their lineup. So we'll have to see, because of course, if you're banning out counter picks for your own heroes, you're not really paying too much mind to your opponent's draft. But now we need to see RCY find his way onto what could be a very active spirit hero. Again, all of the A or S tier mid heroes are already banned out, mainly by DogChamp themselves. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see, because really, RCY's pool is kind of getting thinned out, but on their own volition.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, the risk that they felt they had to take, but still options left for them. Still some stuff for them to work with. Right now, though, they are thinking over what will be their final ban. And, well, ET, based on the Pangolier pick, it almost feels like DogChamp aren't 100% locked down themselves in terms of what they think Fart Studios will be running. Because we have seen the Pango across NA and SA shift in position a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And really, all that's coming into my mind is still Leshrac. And I do know that RCY is a huge Quap fan. So I feel like if what's going
Hmm.
to end up happening is Fart Studios take the Lesh as almost a steal versus DogChamp, and then they immediately go for the Quap, that could be a hero for RCY. But just feels kind of hollow. Doesn't feel like the hero I necessarily want for him, even though, again, DogChamp want that kind of right clicker.
Oh,
Oh, I do like this though. A hero that honestly hasn't been too popular in the meta of Dota at large, but is still one of these super solid NASA classics. And now that kind of takes away that third option. And I do think DogChamp can still very easily pick Leshrac here, but you are not going to pick Quap into Kunkka. And they decided to go
okay.
for RCY Invoker instead. Okay, I like this too. I like this too. Another one of those comfort heroes.
Hmm. A formidable Invoker player, RCY certainly. And we'll see if there's any funny business here in terms of who takes what. Don't really anticipate anything getting shaken up at this point, but well, you never know. DPC did show us some people playing way out of what we would have expected position-wise just a couple of months ago, but does not look like any funny business is going down here.
Yeah, and now all they have to be careful of, though, even though I do like RC1 Invoker, it's, again, probably his top 3 heroes. It's Batrider, it's Invoker, it's Tinker, but you have to be so preemptive with what Fart Studios is doing, because all it will take, Ion Annihilate gets level 6, Jenkins TP's mid, that's a dead Invoker. There have to be heroes physically standing there ready for those ganks. They have to be able to read that map really accurately, otherwise RCY's game could just get thrown into the trash can, effectively. All it takes is 1 or 2 deaths on that Invoker, then your mid tower's dead, then your jungle's opened up, then sure, maybe Pudge is going to be able to run around with an Ags 15-20 minutes into the game, but Fart Studios aren't going to wait 15-20 minutes. They're going to be running at you the entire early game stage here, and then it only gets more dangerous once their supports get their level 6s. So definitely a tense moment for DogChamp that they're going to have to navigate, because Invoker's a slow hero. It's what he's always been kind of avoided for, is being as slow as he is. So really, DogChamp just need time.
Yeah. Well, let's see whether or not they're going to be able to successfully buy that time here as we are getting things underway. First match of Pro Series, and, well, you almost felt it coming at this point, ET. We may not have the SA teams who usually are the kings of the early pause, but there was no getting around it. This was always going to happen.
Yeah, and, you know, hey, this is just them getting revenge. You can't do it in your pubs anymore. You know, you got that 3-minute buffer. Might as well do it in a pro game. Who knows? Even though we have been very patiently waiting for these boys to get here, you know, our 9 p.m. start time. But it's okay, because as soon as they get seated, we'll be happy. And as you get to see in the chat there, Newsham is asking where Yaren is at, because, you know, where is Yaren? So it's a good question here. Not to say the Giant's not going to be a beast of a stand-in, but, you know, Yarn does actually play with the team, you know, so we'll see if maybe that's going to play it up with what Giant's role will end up being for DogChamp. But as we also attribute to NASA, these players know each other. If they're not on teams with each other, they're playing in pubs pretty much every single day. Swapping in a player here or there, especially the supports, really doesn't end up mixing up the game plan for too many of these squads.
And it's just a little unfortunate, because back in Pro Series 13, and then even, I think, maybe 1 or 2 events afterwards, DogChamp were dealing with just constant stand-in situations, right? Roster instability. Everyone wasn't really available over generally sort of the holiday time period. So it's not that big of a deal this time, right? Giant instead of Yarn is not quite the 2-3 stand-in situation we were seeing before, but I mean, I want to see the full DogChamp lineup and watch them with their usual 5, but, well, they can't do that today. But let's see if they can take advantage of this nice little play from Yuma. Pulls Jenkins over, they get the follow-up route, and there's just absolutely... Okay, boys. There you go. Yuma just messing with him a little bit there, but there's your first blood into the Pudge's hands.
Yeah, pretty nice, pretty clean, pretty quick kill. And of course, Yuma is going to be so happy with that. He's already greeting out for quite a few of his items here, as he should. He just wants more armor. He just wants to get his early phase boost and early ring of health. And then it's going to drastically make his lane easier versus Jenkins. But yeah, we'll have to see, because that'll certainly be the lane to look out for. It's one of those feast or famine heroes, even though I think historically, in a very similar vein to Realm, Yuma is just known for hitting those early hooks. Not a big whiffer.
I mean, if you're going to play carry Pudge, you gotta be known for your accuracy, right? Otherwise, you don't play carry Pudge for all that long. Right. Well, we'll see how this lane plays out here, because this is going to be interesting. Nature's Prophet Tiny combo can certainly do a fair bit of punishment if they catch people out of position, but Yuma on the Pudge is not exactly your typical kind of squishy carry in this lane.
No, definitely not. And we'll have to see what Jenkins is actually able to do. If he has a ton of denies, it's going to be way easier, but that's also where as soon as the CM hits level 2, it's really just child's play for him to Crystal Nova and right-click down at least one of the treants while they're slowed. It's where CM is quite a good answer versus the Nature's Prophet, even though still incredibly strong hero, incredibly annoying, And as soon as Jenkins does hit his level 6, then he is the most dangerous hero on the map.
Well, playing up a little bit at the moment. Does force them to push into tower a little bit, but Yuma. Be able to get off the hook. B9 set it up with the root. The only problem is, if you go about it that way, ET, well, now your lockdown's gone and Jenkins just walks away. So, it's some good harass damage, but you gotta go the other way around if they're looking for the kill.
Gotta be a little bit more patient, but hey, it's okay. Early trades, nobody's too low. Nobody's really gonna get shoved out here. There is still a lot of greed in the lanes.
There's that play you were talking about. Hits level 2, drops the Nova, able to take out 1 or 2 of the Treants, and oh, he got the hook this time. Not, what do you mind? I say this time like he hadn't hit all the previous ones, but this time he gets the hook in first. There's the follow-up root, and yeah, if that combo can get off with any degree of consistency in this lane, Jenkins is going to have a hard time.
No, you got to be careful. You got to be patient. And the nice thing about Nature's Prophet is, of course, every 80 seconds, you do get to completely refill your resources. You effectively get to be a quick courier for your 4 position as well. But right now, it has really just been a struggle for Jenkins to find anything. It's where you'd hope that Nushim is getting a lot of these last hits as well, but it's one of the best aspects of Pudge with the Clawing Blade. You just have 86 damage. You're just denying. You're just last hitting, and really, not too many heroes in the game can actually contest you at all.
You see Nushim trying to step up and do something to help out there, and it certainly will help, but it's not going to change the lane all by itself. Speaking of changing the lane, though, up top, Giant on the run early on. BSJ, and I will call him BSJ because I refuse to call him by that new name, was tracking him through the tree lines there, but didn't have the mana or really the spells to keep that one going. But a little bit of pressure being applied. Giant pushed back a bit, but if they can't put pressure on Italiano, who ET is farming very well so far, Giant doesn't really care.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if Italiano just goes for the typical value point in Thor or in Hawk, and then he just ends up stacking those Ancients. But another kill and a killing spree for Yuma. He's kind of rocking it right now, and he's got a Ring of Health. Even though he's low, he's going to sit underneath his tower, he's going to sit with his Flag Bearer, and then suddenly he's going to be right back into the lane.
Getting a little bit concerning now. We kept talking about how Jenkins on the Nature's Prophet is going to be able to sort of bounce back a little bit, but 3 straight deaths will hurt, and now a 4th straight death, not for him, but for the Fart Studios side in general. As Sonic got picked off there, Italiano hit him up with the level 2 axes. Giant has to die afterwards, but he dies to Sonic, not directly to BSJ. So honestly, the cost isn't that big of a deal. That is a big deal, though. B9 rotates his way towards mid, and Annihilate gets picked off, so well, I was about to say, mid lane's the only one that hadn't been touched as of yet in terms of the early action. No longer the case.
Yeah, and you could call it a little bit of greed. He did end up just getting frostbitten into a level 3 Sunstrike, so that's kind of unfortunate, but also just taking a lot of damage. And looking over at RCY, I mean, he's 13 and a 12, and of course, a lot of those denies, and when I say a lot, I do mean a lot, are the Forge Spirit. But it's still just sizable. It just means that Annihilate, he's slowly falling behind in levels. He's not getting too much out of his lane. And that's where you want to be ahead XP-wise on the Kunkka. As soon as you hit level 6, RCY has to be so careful. But RCY's just not feeling that pressure.
Oh, he's
just
getting
doing
aggressive.
a great job. Again? Oh,
Annihilate
no.
may not have a way out of this. RCY,
Well,
how far does he chase? Okay. Thought for a moment maybe he'd try to do some dancing under the tier 1 to get the extra damage, but Annihilate lives, but that doesn't make this mid situation any better for him.
No, RCY is just disgusting laner. That is just ridiculous. And now, okay, you're just going to be waiting till you're level 6, just kind of feasting for these creeps, and then hoping somebody can rotate over.
Sonic?
And somebody is coming.
I don't know if this is a great idea. They're going to get the Glimpse play, but Giant's coming in. There's a TP even from B9. They got the slow, they got the root, now they're turning around. They see the kill opportunity. There's the lift! And there's going to be the kill. He did get the torrent off. That should set up Nushim to try for some sort of revenge here. B9 dropping low. He does get taken down, ET, but that's a consolation prize. That's really just not worth the loss.
No, yeah, and I think, again, it comes down to everyone on the map not expecting Annihilate to really be that far behind, but you gotta give that credit to RCY. Just doing a fantastic job. And with you bringing all these supports over here, as Sonic is just getting right-clicked down by a Forge Spirit and a Rubik, and that will work. But by bringing the supports mid, you've really done that at pretty much the worst possible timing, because not only are you getting close to level 6 on both the Pudge and the Beastmaster, Helm of the Dominator is about to be done. These soul lanes are about to be completely fine at being solo. You already see Jenkins, he's just farming a large camp because he's got nowhere else to go. The Pudge is too high. He's got a Vanguard. What's a Nature's Prophet going to do? Right-click the Pudge? That's not how that works. And this is a good play. Getting onto Italiano early, making sure they find that weak player, because I think right now the Pudge is too far and away. At least they get something on the map.
And they hold off so that BSJ is the one to get the kill as well. So solid sort of micro there, good team plays, and the best play that was available to them at the time, as you were sort of alluding to. So, okay. Right? Road to recovery here, which honestly sounds maybe a little overdramatic. We're 7 minutes in. They're not that far behind. And Annihilate, he is trying to make a play to RCY. He got the full combo off, but with B9 TPing in, finding the angle for the Tidebringer was going to be a little bit complicated. Nusham, though's coming. They are going to try and wrap around. While they look for that angle, though, Yuma wins the 1v1 against Jenkins.
Yep, just gets his level 6, goes aggressive, makes a really nice play. A Haunt, though,
okay,
for a team fight to try and get him mid.
He's still not dead, though. RCY's running. Can he actually make it out of here? Somebody's got to be able to catch him. There it is. Annihilate gets up to him, finishes the kill. B9, though, was able to take advantage of Annihilate going all in to take a kill himself. And at this point, Far Studios just bring absolutely everyone who was alive into the middle lane. At the end of the day, they win the fight, but that's the kind of heavy commitment that they have to put together right now.
Yeah, and it's messy. It's not pretty. If all of that kind of was a little bit more cohesive, if they maybe were able to save the boat, then that kill goes off a lot cleaner. But it's still the hesitancy to get Jenkins involved because, again, he's still recovering. He wants his level 6 right about now, and he is nowhere close. He's barely level 5, but getting the Spectre involved is certainly going to help them out here. Getting the early Blade Mill, just being annoying, it's all he really can do, even though right now he's able to hold onto his tower, funnily enough, just because Italiano Gangster's courier died with his Helm of the Dominator, but as soon as that courier ends up coming over to him, the tier 1 almost needs to just be surrendered. That's where the next big fight really is going to have to be.
Oh, Yuma trying to wrap around onto Sonic there, not able to get the angle that he really wanted. The glimpse kind of forces him away as well, so good news, Sonic lives. Bad news, this is Yuma's lane, and there's nobody who can take it away from him.
No, he is just too large, too big, as Roar on Iron Island.
They got a nice bit of damage here initially. They might need a little bit more to actually finish the kill, but there it is. They get the root, they get the hook. Even the Dismember, better safe than sorry if you're Yuma. They will be able to finish off that kill as well.
Yeah, they just have this pretty nice deep ward, but also caught wind of the Beastmaster trying to take one of those stacks, but they say, okay, you're overextended, we might as well kill you, and then just not take the stack, because it's not like you're going to be able to take the stack, so they're happy as RCY walks back mid and has his Midas now. So really, DogChamp are still getting quite a bit more out of the map right now, even though seeing how they want to defend this bot tower is going to be interesting, because they just dislodged their Pudge. They don't want to go for a trade yet, but they're really in a position where they can't afford to do anything but.
And Yuma can't even make a straight line back down to the lane because he runs into the Spectre for a second, so yeah. Art Studios making the most out of a bit of a rough situation there, able to get the tower just about for free, although as I say that, Nusham, he is going to get himself caught out here, looking for maybe a courier snipe before he dies. Doesn't even get that, though, so unfortunate, and he actually dies so quickly. The reinforcements come bot. B9 TP's in, and they're going to look to find some sort of fight here. Jenkins, however, picks the right hiding spot and TP's away. Sonic sneaks in there for a kill. Will he be punished for it? No, he will not. The hook misses, and Art Studios get the tower and the kill.
Yeah, kind of awkward. I'm not sure. Maybe just barely didn't see with nighttime vision him walking into that tree line. But now Yuma, gotta be careful here. They're waiting very patiently. They want him to pop Flesh Heap on the creep wave, but it's not coming. And well, they're gonna try now. If he gets Flesh Heap off, this goes really scary. That was a dagger from hell. Now he's gonna get the Flesh Heap off.
He got it. He's got the Dismember as well. Is anyone coming to help him, though? No. Which means he should still die here. He's going to try and find some sort of safe spot, but that really just doesn't exist, really. Yeah, that's maybe overly ambitious on that TP, but he didn't really have any other play to make.
Yeah, just overstayed his welcome. Again, very nice, very patient from Fart Studios, even though immediately the Spectre TP's mid. Does a whole lot of damage with the Blade Mail, but that was a short-lived life.
Well, there's the immediate punish, right? DogChamp weren't just going to let that one stand all by itself. RCY, though, he's getting into a little bit of trouble. There's going to be the Ava into the toss. They need some more damage, and here it comes. Annihilate, full combo in. Job done. Sonic, though, yeah, please don't die after the fact. He's going to be able to walk away, but very low HP.
Yeah, the successive plays just kind of keep happening. It's very funny. Greed's out to kill the tower. He gets punished for killing the tower. Does the Spectre TPing in. Italiano, though, he is absolutely fine. Blistering speed on this Beastmaster. Almost top net worth after Yuma's death. He is absolutely chilling on this Beastmaster. And, of course, as we always see, once he gets that Helm of the Overlord, DogChamp have a real easy time of immediately forcing out that Roche and forcing Fart Studios to even just look at him. Because now, Fart Studios, what they want to do with this next taunt, with this next batch of spells, is get the mid tower, any damage on that tower. But until they find a nice pickoff, the Giants just going to keep this waving, and you're not really going to see them really easily be able to make that play. You know, they're looking for Italiano right now. Still having this ward. Be a pretty easy pick, but oh, Sonic broke. Oh, and he's still going to get him with the X.
They've got the X, they've got the Torrent, but they don't have the damage, and yeah, this is starting to break up a little bit. Stolen Ava from Giant as well, so now they're going to try to turn. Nusham makes his way into the pit, but I don't really think he's getting out of this one, as they are able to lock him down. Jenkins threw his ult in there as well. Not really to the greatest of effects, and Sonic wasn't able to walk away either, so DogChamp get 2 out of what was supposed to be an aggressive play from their opponents.
Yeah, a little bit of a combination of, I think, Sonic barely breaking during daytime vision, and with the trees cut, Italiano just knew what was coming, and well, now they're going to farm this 5-stack of Ancients, and oh my goodness. It's just that easy. So not only do DogChamp farm that entire large camp stack, they don't lose Italiano, they get 2 support kills in turn, and you steal one of Fart Studios' ultimates. Just nothing's going right for Fart right now.
Not a great look for them at the moment, but well, hoping that they can maybe rally around their team fight strength at this point, ET, because you still got Haunt, you still have Static Storm, right? There's a lot for them to work with. They've just got to put it together relatively soon.
Yeah, because we're not running out of time just yet. You know, there's still quite a lot of Dota to be played here, and they are doing a pretty nice play right now, trying to find Yuma on his own again, just because, well, Yuma feels like he's large and in charge. And you've got a pretty easy glimpse back here, and here we go.
Here's the glimpse. They don't throw the static out immediately. Now it will come through. Do they have enough? It should be enough to get the kill. Yuma goes down. Giant is here. Good for him, I guess, but there's really not a lot he could actually do here. And Sonic might actually spot him. Moving through the trees, they get the vision down. X out from Annihilate. They'll set up with the Torrent. B9 has rotated over, so that sets up for Sonic's death, as they get the root into the Sunstrike. But that's really the only play to be made. B9 not going to make it away, and a kill for RCY is nice, ET, but 3 heroes dead and pressure on that tier 2 bot is still exactly what Fart Studios were hoping for.
Yeah, and I think DogChamp, they're getting caught up in their opponent's aggression a little bit too much here, and of course, heroes like the Beastmaster, who would have to TP and leave their creep behind. It's where DogChamp really just need to get in their own game plan right now. And you already see it with the cores that are alive. They've moved towards top. They're making sure that they can actually get something going here, other pressure on the map, because they are not good at TP responding. They will just kind of be at their weakest in those moments, at least maybe until these BKBs are finished. But there is a very farmed Beastmaster who, at the end of the day, didn't blink at his cores dying, at anybody dying bottom, so is still just farming and is the top net worth hero.
Solid opening for him so far. Meanwhile, B9 and Yuma looking for the play onto BSJ. They get him with the root, into the hook, into the freezing field. That's just too much damage. The Spectre can't survive. Annihilate was able to sort of get into position to try a response, but I don't know if these 2 heroes alone really have the damage to do this. They're trying to track B9 instead, but at this point, Nusham, he's gone a little bit too far, and the Kunkka says, I don't want to be here anymore. Annihilate bails. That leaves Nusham really just left holding the bag on that one.
Yeah, and that's the other problem. If you're not responding to Italiano, well, when you go for your play into Yuma, you need all 5 heroes. The past 2 times where Yuma's death has happened is because you do have everyone, but because they split themselves up for just a few seconds, well, they get punished. They die. That is going to be an unsuccessful TP on Jenkins top, but this is where DogChamp's lineup really starts to become annoying. And again, whenever they want to, they could just immediately look for their force onto their first Aegis here. It's still very early. Maybe they wait for Yuma's Ags to be done, but that's also coming right on cue.
Just everyone hitting the exact milestones that DogChamp presumably laid out when they drafted this lineup. There's just not a whole lot slowing them down at the moment as Italiano finally done with the top lane, took all the towers that he cares to, and he is making his way down, but they might not even need him. They caught the Spectre again. And, well, even with that hook really not hitting onto much, it wasn't necessary. They just are too strong. No one on Fart Studios can stand up against them alone.
And this is a moment where you would hope for Fart Studios to be able to find some damage on a tier 2, maybe abuse the fact that you don't have Glyph for DogChamp right now. If they want to defend these buildings, they will have to TP heroes back to actually defend them. They don't have that get out of jail free card with Glyph, but it's also where Beastmaster's enough. With a cart, he pushes through these buildings so quickly, and you're just starting to hemorrhage gold right now. And now with the items being completed, there's another power spike for them to play around with. There's not Greaves yet on Giant, but even the Rubik is starting to get involved in these team fights. Just every box is getting ticked. Now Sonic trying to play up on his ward here, and he's just going to make a play on RCY. Will it be enough, though? They need people. They need everyone.
Well, they do have enough damage for the kill, so RCY does go down. Yuma, though, well, he TP'd in. Can they actually catch up? Yes, they can. Okay, BSJ gets taken down, and now for Fart Studios, this fight is just about done. Freezing Field out from B9 is going to connect onto Sonic. Shouldn't be enough to kill him initially, but at this point, they are just chasing. That's going to be a route into a hook. Easiest hook Yuma's had all game, and yeah, the route is on. 4 dead. Everyone other than Annihilate goes down, and the RCY kill is nice, but the cost that you have to pay is just too damn high.
Yeah, and I kind of hesitated there. I didn't want to say that they just had to try and not lose everybody, and that was maybe a little successful as the supports they're trying to play an Annihilate. This is a little bit difficult. He does steal Tidal Wave, but Yuma's prowling. No way he gets the hook, though.
Nah, not even going to get into range. Tries it anyway, just in case, but that was not going to be happening.
With this game, not feeling too fun here. There is an Ags now in Jenkins, so still trying to prey on RCY pre-BKB, but it's just the simple issue where Fart Studios have to use everything in their bag to make sure they get a single kill, and then they just have to hope that they're escape artists, because there's just no easy in, no easy out. I think now there's going to be an Aegis on the Pudge with the way that DogChamp are moving. No reason for them not to force it, and well, now Pudge isn't the one you kill. Now, who are you looking for? Well, the Invoker has his BKB. We're not killing RCY. I guess we're going to try to kill the supports, but it's where the numbers just simply aren't favoring them.
This is a pretty damn fast Roche attempt coming out from them as well, so yeah. Not even enough time for Fart Studios to think about contesting, let alone actually moving into position to do so. So there's going to be your Aegis into Yuma's hands, as you were predicting. He's got the Ags. He's good to go. Looking for somebody to hit, and he's got eyes on the Kunkka. I Annihilate. Well, he knows the Pudge is there now. Is he going to be able to get away? Yes, he is, but RCY is TPing in onto the Hawk, and he is going to be able to get the Tornado down. They've got the EMP to follow it. It's going to burn away most of Annihilate's mana, but that was a very nice Tidal Wave. Deafening Blast, though, is a little bit better placed, and he's still not out of the woods just yet. Nusham trying to get into position. Well, he's in position to sacrifice himself. I suppose that counts? No, it doesn't, because I Annihilate got his TP canceled. And he is not making it home.
Yeah, just got a little bit too greedy there. Got punished for it. Now, you've got these creep waves that are, you know, justifiably out pretty far, but then immediately they look for the Spectre who's showing on the waves, and it's time for Fardas J to be back on the run. He's just gunning for this Ags, and it's just not coming to him. At least he's going to be able to walk this one out, but this is where, unfortunately, for the Nature's Prophet, all of this gold, all of these creep waves, they're getting pushed out, but all of that net worth is getting funneled into a hero that isn't really battle ready. and your opponents aren't the tier 3.
Yeah.
It's time for them to game. This is where, as soon as that glyph is forced, and that's a real early glyph, well, it's pretty much time. There's no real logical reason for DogChamp to leave at this point. They're probably at least going to stay for the tier 3, at least get the glyph going, but then whenever they scoot back around to push out all of these side lanes, it's just another 3,000 or 4,000 gold that's going to be in their pocket. Leaving Italiano is a mistake, though. We'll have to see. There might be an advantageous team fight here, but even Italiano, he's so tanky.
And while that's happening, Jenkins is going to get caught. Went for the split push play. It did buy a little bit of time, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. He'll buy back, though, now, recognizing that his teammates need him on that front line. They're trying to push their way in. Italiano is dropping low, but there's going to be those Guardian Greaves healing him up. Glimmer Cape onto him as well. Freezing Field from B9, able to cover. And they're just not bringing him down just yet. A Sunstrike's now even coming in, so Annihilate no longer has any HP. He has to try and back away, but he just can't get out. Annihilate will die. BSJ will die. Jenkins is hooked back into the fight. And yeah, that's the appropriate time to GG out. They get no kills. They lose everyone. And DogChamp look dominant.
No, they look fantastic. 22-minute game, you know. Being nice to us. We're going to have our shortest work day, ever Kmart, I think, at this rate. But also, I think just clear outdraft, just a little bit too much comfort ended up thrown into DogChamp's lap, as well as I think they just kind of outplayed Fart Studios. Sure, maybe Fart Studios have a really insane global strategy where it takes very little setup in the side lanes for them to bring absolutely everyone, and that works 3 times, maybe, 2 of them on Yuma, which is great. But Yuma's still getting a 15-minute Ags. Italiano Gangster is still not getting looked in the face. He really just farmed a whole Ancient stack, a whole Large Camp stack, walked in, had a 15-minute Helm of the Overlord, and then RCY is just simply outlaning Akunka and just bopping him and forcing all the supports out. It's just too much chaos. And I think Fart Studios coming into Game 2, I don't know if they have so many good heroes, just didn't feel like they executed at quite high enough level here. And DogChamp already kind of looking, and a lot of people already thinking that they are going to be one of the tougher teams in Div 2. Definitely got to look at these guys.
Mm-hmm. And that's a little bit of what we were talking about at the start of this game as well. The last time we saw them, maybe they didn't play fantastically, but they were also dealing with anywhere between 1 and 3 stand-ins every time they were playing in Pro Series 13. So now, most of the lineup is here, and obviously reminding us of just how good they can be when they get the right circumstances. So, DogChamp take game 1, looking pretty damn good in the process. ET, we'll see if they can harness this momentum and roll it forward and give us a pretty quick night in terms of our schedule, or if Fart Studios are going to be able to mount some sort of recovery effort and get themselves back into it. So, we'll be stepping aside for just a little bit. When we return, it'll be the start of that Game 2 draft. So stick around. We'll be right back.